Greetings from Audi. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today you are joining me at the V8 Hotel here in Bergen, Germany. Please excuse my pronunciation of that. This is about 30 minutes outside of Stuttgart, but I'm going to be going into Stuttgart to visit the Porsche Museum as well as the Mercedes-Benz Museum. And to see where the car brands are based in Germany is incredible because I love German car brands, especially BMW and Mercedes as daily drivers, and of course Porsche with their amazing sports cars. My dad has a 911, and so Porsche has a special place in my heart. And to see where it all came from is very exciting. There it is, bro. The Porsche Museum in Stuttgart, driven by dreams. So this is the top of the escalator, and this is the first thing you're greeted by. And it says to start. All right, cool. And then we have a whole display, incredibly cool cars here. So we have anything from race cars to the beautiful 356 show car. I mean, you even have the evolution of the particular Porsche badges. And then we have this absolutely gorgeous 356 in black. And over here, 718 RS Spider. We have another 356. This one is the prototype. And then looks like we have a tractor. 904 Carrera GTS. This was the first Porsche car with a gloss fiber reinforced plastic body. That's pretty cool. A lot of these older Porsches I don't know too much about. So we got a Type 754 T7, and we're getting into the 911s, the first generation 911. And it's got the houndstooth pattern on the seats. And then right over here, we also have the Targa. And moving on from over here, where there's a podium, over here is the 908 Spider. This is a work of art. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. Got the engine exposed right behind your head. What's kind of ironic is that these are the Italian flag colors. Got a couple of models of the different Porsche race cars. Then we over here have the Porsche 917. Again, another absolutely insane car, but this one is very long. The rear overhang is massive on this car. And then over here we have the 914. I've always had a soft spot for the 914. I just thought it was such a cool little car. I think I've only seen one in the United States so far. And there's one right here. And then further on the race car theme, we have the 917 LH Coupe. And this is one of, as it says, the fastest racing cars at Le Mans has ever seen. And we have a Carrera RS 2.7. These things are incredibly rare. I did see one when I was at the Goodwood Hotel in England, except that was a much different color combination. This is where the current generation GT3 RS, as well as the 997 GT3 RS, got the inspiration to do red wheels with red decals. This, though, is green wheels with green decals. Then we have a 911 Carrera RSR. I mean, just look at this wide body in the rear. That is insane. And this car is very iconic. This is another 917. It's such a cool colorway on that. And then over here we have the 911 Carrera RSR 3-liter from 1974. And this orange with this wide haunches in the back is just amazing. And then over here we have a 935, I guess nicknamed Baby. There's also, I think, another 917, but there's just way too many people around that thing. Then we have a 911 Turbo. Gorgeous. Look at that interior with the flannel plaid. Wow. Then we have a 956 that's upside down. And then we have the, looks like the 959 Paris Dakar. This is insanely cool. That's where the, I guess, 911 Dakar got some inspiration with its color scheme from. This is absolutely insane. And then right over here we have the road-going version of the 959. They've only made very few for the whole world. And compared to the F40, this is a very different car, but they were being compared a lot because they were the fastest cars in the world. This went close to 200 miles an hour, but this had a lot of very innovative technologies. Right here, it says there was an electrically controlled all-wheel drive combined with ABS. There were 4 pre-selectable shock absorber programs with a speed-dependent self-leveling function. This thing has a lot of technological achievements behind it. And, well, how do you guys feel about the way this thing looks? I personally don't like it. I think it looks just like a 911 that has an addition in the back to make it look like a supercar. But you can't deny how special this thing is. I never ever see, like, I think I've seen 2 and 3 in my lifetime, and that's in South Florida where there's nice cars everywhere. So over here there are 2 cars you can get your picture taken in, as well as a 918 safety car. And then over here we have the, I think this is an F1 car. Again, race cars I don't know as much about. This thing is insane looking. It looks so cool. It's interesting to see the evolution of F1 cars from then to now. And then over here, got the 911 Carrera 2 Cup with a bunch of music notes on the livery. Yeah, no, this is really cool. And then over here we have a GT1 race car. Then over here we have a 911 Turbo 3.6. And look at that yellow interior. I mean, this is pre-Mansory here. And then we'll get through here. We have here, it looks like a 911 police car. And then we have the GT1. And this thing is absolutely insane. I wanted to see one of these for a very, very, very long time. These are incredibly rare. Even in the wealthiest of areas with the nicest cars, you do not see a GT1 every single day. It is absolutely insane looking. I'm a huge fan of it. This is like was being compared to the CLK GTR and the McLaren F1, the Bugatti B110. What makes this car so special is, if I'm not mistaken, to race, I think it was at Le Mans, they had to make a road-going version of the race car, and you could limit the production. Nissan did it, Porsche did it, Mercedes did it, and as a result, we have these absolutely insane-looking cars. So this particular car, 21 units, 1.5 million each. Here you can get another look at the rear end. My gosh. And then over here, we got the Boxster Studie. So if I'm not mistaken, this looks like it's probably the concept of the Boxster. And then we have a 911 that's cut in half to give you kind of a visual of the components that make up a 911, from the interior to the exterior to the engine itself. It's a shame that you really can't open the back part of the 911 and see the engine. You just see fans now. Then over here we have a 968 CS Coupe and color matching wheels. That's insanely cool. This looks like it's a 928 station wagon. I'm not sure if they actually made this or if this is just a concept car, But my God, this thing is so cool. So this is a prototype. This is one of 2 built, and a beautiful maroon color. 944 Turbo Cup, and then also a 924 over there in a beautiful green. Then over here we have a 996 Carrera 4 Cabriolet. Very unique roof design. The 996 gets a lot of hate because they say it's not the best looking 911 generation, and I definitely agree. I think the door handles make it look outdated, but I really do like the rear end. It's very, of course, 911. It also got a lot of hate for the headlights that got the nickname fried egg headlights. Then over here we have all of the trophies that Porsche has won over the years, which is just insane. I mean, look how large that 24 hours of Le Mans trophy is. And then through here we have Sally, the iconic Porsche 911 from the movie Cars. And then we have one of arguably the best sounding cars of all time, a Porsche Carrera GT. This thing, by a lot of people, is considered to be one of the last raw supercars. And also, especially with the thing that happened with Paul Walker, where he was in one of these and crashed and unfortunately passed away. These things are known to be quite dangerous. It also has a very unique clutch to where you have to let off almost completely before you even start pushing the gas pedal. So as a result, these things stall a lot, especially if you have never driven a Carrera GT. And on top of that, the clutches are like, I think, $20,000 to replace. So you gotta be careful when you drive one of these things. But it has a race-derived Porsche V10. And this is a gorgeous car. The successor to the 959 and the predecessor for the 918 Spider. And I mean, just look at these exhaust tips. These look like afterburners on a fighter jet. Insanely cool. And this right here is the glorious engine that powers the Carrera GT. So you can see all the components, the exhaust manifold, the intakes, just everything. Then we also have a GT3 RSR. This looks like it's a Cayman S. Really nice color. And of course, manual gearbox. The Cayman S Sport. I'm not sure if this is different from the Cayman R of this generation. Maybe that was a US only car. And then we have this insanely cool Cayenne S Lagwagen. I think that's how you pronounce it. Fully specced out off-road. And I've never liked how the original Cayenne looked. And I think a lot of people can back me up on that because it is an ugly car. But this, with all the upgrades on it, looks badass. And I love the color. I would love to take this thing out in the dunes. And then over here we have the original Panamera, the 4S in this case. Unique story behind this car because it is hideous. It really is not a good looking car, especially from the back. The reason why it looks this way is actually because the CEO of Porsche at the time, I think he was 6'5" or 6'6", and he wanted a car that he could fit inside of the back seat. And so last minute in the design process, Porsche had to raise the headroom in the rear seat, creating this bizarre shape, which is not the most visually appealing. But the newest Panamera fixes this problem, and the Taycan, which in my opinion is how the Panamera should have looked all along with the beautiful sloping roof back. And then over here we have a 911 GT3R Hybrid, the original Macan GTS. The spec on this thing is really nice. I love these wheels. It's nicknamed the turbo wheels. This thing's really optioned out. I have never seen a Macan with these in carbon fiber before. But beautiful. And then of course we have the famous 911R. I remember when this thing came out and it was considered to be the last manual Porsche. And so these things skyrocketed in value. Like I'm talking like a 500 grand. And then Porsche released the 991.2 GT3 with a manual. And so a lot of people who own these were pretty upset. And I understand why, but I like that Porsche makes cars for drivers and not just for investments, because these types of cars should be driven. They shouldn't just be kept in a garage doing absolutely nothing, collecting dust. And then over here we have the 918 Spider concept. This is throwing me back to Need for Speed Most Wanted when I used to play that all the time. And this was one of the few concept cars that really looks exactly like the production car. There are a couple of differences, but the one that I think was the most impressive that was so accurate were these wheels. I love this wheel design. The Weissach wheels are cool, but I feel like these fit the design of the car more and look a lot more futuristic. This car, though, had cameras instead of side mirrors. The production car doesn't have that. The door handles are also slightly different, and the exhaust tips are on the side instead of up there. And if you've ever played Need for Speed Most Wanted with this car in it, these two things where the exhaust tips are actually raise up at speed. The spoiler looks slightly different, but you also have the green surrounding the badge. But generally speaking, this looks very similar to the production car. And the 919 is an absolutely beautiful car. One of the most beautiful modern Porsches to have come out in a long time, in my opinion. Now we're moving on to the 919 Hybrid. I remember when this came out and I was playing Forza. So this is kind of bringing me back a couple years. Insane looking thing for Le Mans. You even have the 4 Porsche dots for the lights, just like on the road cars here on the Le Mans race car. This thing is insanely long. It's so low. The top of the wing barely reaches my waistline, and I'm 5'8". I'm not even that tall. And then over here we have a Taycan Cross Turismo, and to me this would be the Taycan of choice I would get. I'm a big wagon person, hatchback person. I do like how the normal Taycan looks, but the wagon just always has a special place in my heart. And what a beautiful color. The wheel design, though, not feeling that. Moving on from the Taycan, we have the 99X Electric. So this looks like it was for Formula E. Yeah, I'm correct. Pretty cool new division that's being done. A little quieter, obviously, than F1. And then over here, this looks like it is a 911 Carrera 4S in a beautiful navy blue. Yep, 911 Carrera 4S. The new 992s are such a great car. It's so drivable on the road. It's super comfortable for a sports car. It's got a really nice interior and pretty nice technology as well. You really can't go wrong. And then over here, this looks like it's a 944, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it's a 962. There's my knowledge of old Porsches for you. Now moving on, we have a 911 Turbo S exclusive series. I remember when this thing came out and it was all over Instagram. I love the copper gold. And if you notice, the carbon fiber stripes on the hood are real carbon fiber, and as well as the carbon fiber stripes on the top. It's a full carbon hood, but only parts of it are painted, just like on the GT2 RS. And you have tons of carbon fiber all over the place, such as on the mirror caps, the air intakes on the side. We have an exclusive manufacturer logo. Yeah, these are really cool. And then one pretty unique thing about this for the 991 Turbo S is it has round quad exhaust instead of the square quad exhaust, and it even has a little bit of ridges in it, which make it look a little bit more aggressive. And then moving on from this, we have a 992 GT3 VIP Cup car. This is beautiful as well. I really like the interior fabric, of course, a manual gearbox. And I like this Minecraft-like pattern. And then over here, we have the 911 Dakar. And what a cool car this thing is. I'm so happy that Porsche came out with this, and also Lamborghini with the Huracan Storado. This is way more off-road focused than the Storado. It has a little bit more hardcore off-road options on it. The Huracan Storado is mostly just a raised Huracan with fender flares and off-road tires. But the tires are beefier. The white wheels look super cool. You don't have to get this heritage not body kit. You don't have to get this heritage livery on the car. You can get it perfectly normal spec, but I think this just looks super cool and very rally inspired. And you can even get options like a roof rack to put extra fuel and bags, and there's lights on there. I don't even want to know how much that is as an option. It's probably insanely expensive. This is based on the 911 Carrera 4 GTS, and I would absolutely love to drive one of these things one day. And I really do hope the owners of these actually take them off-road and they don't just keep them in the garage, because as I mentioned earlier, these cars are meant to be driven, but most of these will probably just be driven on the road. But to see one in the sand dunes in Dubai or in the mud somewhere, that would just look really cool, pushing it to its limits. And then over here we have a 911 GT3R. Insane. It, like the 911, wasn't having wide wheel arches enough. Now over here we have a couple of others. Porsche 968 Roadster. And then over here you got a really cool view of the whole museum from up here. This right here is the Porsche Studio Panamericana. I didn't even know this thing existed, but it looks really cool. You know what this reminds me of from the front? Is the Alfa Romeo Disco Volante from a coach builder called Touring. And that's because the wheels arches go over the wheels like this, and they're completely straight and not rounded out. So it very much reminds me of how that car looks. I'll put a picture of it up on the screen so you can get an idea of how it looks. I personally think the Disco Volante is an absolutely gorgeous car, and this, again, is also stunning. And then over here we have a 918 Spider RSR. Well, it's not a Spider, it's a 918 RSR, so the race version of the 918. 968 Lart. Interesting. There's wheel covers on that. This is quite cool. I remember seeing this in Forza, and to see one in real life is really cool. And you can see what they did to the interior. They did put the exhausts on the side, and they put a fan back there. I'm not even sure if they actually erased this or not, or if this is just a concept, but regardless, it is insanely cool nonetheless. Now over here we have the Porsche Gran Turismo Vision GT. Cool livery on it too. Concept cars are always a beautiful design. And then this looks like it's a clay model of a Porsche Le Mans car, so probably the 919. I'll have to double check though. Nope, that shows you my knowledge of race cars. Fight me in the comment section down below.
Okay, so I forgot to do an outro, so here it is in voiceover. I would like to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.